Welcome everybody to the study of the summary of chapter 7 using these points to ponder. So I will make it a little bigger so everybody can see properly. Okay, so this will be in a question and answer format. So you can feel free to look at the answers. So I sent you the link and I can send it again if you want. I'll put it in the chat box. These are the questions. These are the answers. All right. So the first portion is introduction and the nature of God. So the Prathama Shatkam, first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita discussed the nature of the jiva or the individual as consisting of the Sukshma Shariram and the Atma, the consciousness, right? Jiva consists of the Sukshma Shariram, the subtle body, which is the mind, prana, and the organs of action, karmendriya, and the jnanendriya, all that, right? Now, then whose nature does the Madhyama Shatkam or the middle 6 chapters discuss? Whose nature does it discuss? Anybody wants to answer?
Ishvara Swarupa.
Ishvara Swarupam. Yeah, so it's in slide 4. It discusses, so it's a very important slide. So if you go to slide 4, organization. So you have to study of the Bhagavad Gita. This is how you have to remember this. Middle 6th chapter, Ishvara Swarupam, then Ishvara Dhyana, meditation on God, Ishvara Anugraha. You can't do everything yourself. Sometimes we need a little bit of help. That's why we surrender to God. That's the idea. What is the sadhana or the practice mentioned in the Madhyama Shatkam to understand the nature of Ishvara? Anybody? So in the first Prathama Shatkam, yes, Ishvara Dhyanam. So again, first Prathama Shatkam, it is Karma Yoga. It's the practice that is to you put in all this yoga to still the mind to understand higher things like Ishvara. If we can't even understand our mind, how can we understand Ishvara? Here it is Ishvara Dhyanam, meditation on the nature of God. That is the sadhana or the practice. Now, the Prathama Shatkam discussed the tool of prayatna or the individual effort. We saw that in the 6th chapter over and over again. Don't push yourself down. Don't be self-critical. Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitah anatmanastu shatrutve vartate atmatmaiva shatruvat. The self can be a worst enemy because of self-criticism. It can be the best friend. So the tool of prayatna or individual effort to uplift oneself. That's the Prathama Shatkam. Self-effort sometimes is needed. Sometimes conducive situations for spiritual growth is not in our hands. What tool does the Madhyama Shatkam highlight for spiritual growth? Anybody?
To understand the nature of Ishvara
So in order for
and then the
spiritual growth,
cycles of birth.
no. So in order for spiritual growth to happen, you need to put in effort, prayatna, right? So let me go here.
Yeah.
That's what is discussed in the first 6 chapters, individual effort. But by individual effort, you cannot achieve everything. You need a little bit of help too. That is where you surrender to Ishvara or meditate on Ishvara, and there is Ishvara Anugraha, grace of God. And this is what will be stressed in the Madhyama Shatkam. So one thing to note, very important thing, unlike other Christianity and Islam, it's not God is separate entity, which, oh, you have to like get favors from this, you have to be nice, say good things, so God gives you things. It is not like that. This, what you are seeing is your own. So you are like a wave in the ocean. This consciousness which lights me is the thing which is responsible for creation of the universe. You do surrender, but you're surrendering to your higher, that thing which has caused this. When you go see the Grand Canyon or some place, beautiful expanse, you become, you lose your sense of ego, and that is what is stressed here. You see your bigger self, one as part of creation. What are the topics covered in chapter 7? Anybody? We just saw that. First is introduction, and then Ishvara Swarupam, the nature of God, consisting, we already saw that, of pure consciousness and Maya, which is responsible for the material universe. Then Bhagavan goes into samsara karanam and samsara pariharaha, cause and remedy to end the human suffering. Samsara is basically the cycle of births and deaths. Then he introduces bhakti. He introduces two types of bhakti. A lower form, he doesn't say it's bad, but, oh, I worship God, so God can give something. So God is the separate entity, you are separate. And then nishkama bhakti, it is understanding God, which is my higher nature. The consciousness that shines in you. Without the consciousness, you are inert body. That consciousness is that universal consciousness. That's the part of God. Okay. Then Krishna refers to the words jnanam, knowledge, and vijnanam, superior knowledge. V means a qualifier, a superior knowledge in shloka 1 to represent two concepts. What does he refer to by each? Anybody? What is jnanam and what is vijnanam? So, answer is this. Saguna Ishvara Jnanam, that is called Jnanam. Now, God exists as creation, but there is still a distinction between God and devotee. So, knowledge, well, that's what he calls knowledge. It is essentially the knowledge of the material in the universe. And God itself is this entire universe. So, there's like a distinction. And then, Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam. So just to think about it, just to look at it, you are this puny speck. Universe is so big, right? So when you look at it as matter, there is a difference. God as this entire universe, and you as this tiny speck. But when you look at it as water, Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam or Vijnanam, there's this huge ocean. You are part of the ocean. That's exactly the same, no difference. You can say, oh, sun is different from me. Sun is beautiful, giant, I am like a small entity. But when you look at water, yeah, there's more water and the wave has less water. But wave is still a water, ocean and wave. This is Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam or Vijnanam. Is that point understood? So this is, he calls Saguna Ishvara Jnanam as Jnanam, knowledge of the material universe. So because the material universe is nothing but God, Ishvara. Ishvara is nothing but consciousness plus Maya manifesting as this matter. And Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam is pure consciousness, Brahman. Is the point clear to everybody? Does anybody have a question? Yes, Patya.
I want to say that can we keep it for next class? I will prepare all the portions. Today I have not prepared.
No, we can't do that. We are following a thing. We shouldn't do that. We have to continue. Okay. Then comes the next one. Sixth question. Krishna refers to two terms, para prakriti and apara prakriti. First he says, I'll tell you about knowledge and the higher form of knowledge. Now he says, I will tell you about Prakriti. Prakriti refers to nature, all the material. And he defines two types of Prakriti, the superior Para Prakriti and the inferior Apara Prakriti. What does he refer to by each in Shloka 7.5?
Lower and higher Prakriti, like
Yeah. And what are those? So this is the Shloka 7.5. Apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedham dharyate jagat. This eightfold nature, which is the material world, bhumi, rapo, analo, vayu, all the material aspects, bhumi, earth, apaha, water, analaha, fire, vayu, wind, bhumi, rapo, nalo, vayu, kam is space, just space, not air, kam, mano, mind, buddhi, intellect, and ahankara, ego. Distinct from this is my lower nature. My higher nature is the pure consciousness with which the entire universe is sustained. So para prakriti is introduced in this verse, and apara prakriti is apara prakriti is introduced in this verse, and then he says there's a para prakriti which is superior to all this, and the para prakriti is basically the pure consciousness. Okay, apara prakriti is the entire material universe. So para prakriti is just pure consciousness. That's all you need to know. Apara prakriti is everything else. Understood? Is this understood? Anybody? Very important point.
para
yeah.
consciousness, apara is material world.
Yes.
Right?
Para means superior. Param Brahmam means superior. Para means not superior, which is inferior. Means negation. Okay, in Sanskrit, I've told you this. Means negation. Means great. So there are a lot of these things which can confuse. Nanda. So Krishna's adopted father was called Nanda. Nanda means to rejoice, joy. Nanda means great joy. Means great. Ananda means sorrow. You see, all these tricky things. Sura means those who have drunk the nectar of immortality, the gods. Asura means those who have not drunk the nectar of immortality, the demons. Then Asura means one has drunk a lot of that nectar. There was a poet in the 10th chapter, it will come. Asuri, like a great rishi or poet, he composed a lot of hymns. So apara means not higher or inferior, and para means consciousness. So is this point understood? Para, pure
Yes.
consciousness. Now coming to the next question. God, Ishvara, is it para or apara prakriti? Anybody can answer this? Can you?
I had reviewed
Para.
the answers. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that Ishvara is para prakriti.
So this is where you're making the mistake.
See, and that was what I was also going to say, because when I reviewed the answers, it was confusing, because I was also thinking Ishvara is para, but then the answer was like apara.
We've seen that again and again. Remember, para prakriti we've seen the distinctions between para and apara prakriti. Ishvara, in Ishvara in many forms, Ekarupa Ishvara. When God arrived, gopis rejoiced. When God departed, they cried. Coming and going. it is not permanent. Para Prakriti is consciousness. It's always there. Because why? You are that consciousness. You always have access to that consciousness because you are that. So Para Prakriti is always consciousness. God is not. God can come, show, and go. It's the universe. Universe can get created. There's, of course, the Brahman pervading that, but it can also shrink back into Maya or Pralayam at the dissolution. So it's subject to change. That's why we've seen the differences between Para and Apara Prakriti. So where did we see that? Apara Prakriti, so we saw, yeah, the differences is Para Prakriti, the only difference, only common entity is they both were there since the start of, yeah. Only common feature between Para and Apara Prakriti is beginningless and eternal. The differences are Para Prakriti is pure consciousness. Apara Prakriti is inert principle pervade. It could be pervaded by the consciousness. So Ishvara, when you think of it as Krishna or Shiva or something, it is matter plus consciousness. So anything which is not pure consciousness is Apara Prakriti. Yes, Lataji.
So then I have a question. So does that not then equate us with Ishvara? Because we feel we also have the consciousness within us,
Yeah,
and
but
we
we
have
are
a
not
form.
Ishvara. We are not Ishvara
We
because
are not.
Ishvara is the
Yeah.
entire universe plus the
Oh,
consciousness. We are a
we are
tiny
only a
speck.
part.
So Jiva, that's
Okay.
where okay, Paramatma, we've seen this difference. Paramatma and Jivatma. Paramatma is the entire universe pervaded by water. Let's say all these objects floating on water. What are we?
Mhm.
We are this tiny thing.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
like with on a small amount of that local water.
Okay. I
Okay,
see. I understand now.
but
Yes.
both are water. The nature is water. Do you understand? More water, less
Yes.
water.
Yeah. Now I understand. Thanks.
We find Apara Prakriti everywhere in the universe, the material universe. Why Upanishads say that we can never find Para Prakriti? Why is that? The greater superior form, the consciousness. Why can't we find it? Anybody
Because
wants to
there is
answer?
no form. There is no form to it. Maybe there is not like concrete. There is no form to it.
No. Look at the answers. You can look at the answers, and it's an open book with see the answers and tell me. It's a very important point. Anybody wants to say? Why can't you never find Para Prakriti? You go searching for the entire universe, you cannot find Para Prakriti. You cannot find consciousness. Why? You cannot. There's no way you can find it. It has no form. All that is right. But because it is you, you cannot look at yourself. You can look at the mirror, but you cannot look at yourself. Because you, the witnessing principle, is the consciousness. Do you understand that? It's a subtle point. That's why the Upanishads say you can never find Para Prakriti. Is it clear to everybody? Because you cannot look at yourself. You can look at a mirror, but still that's not you. It's an image of you, right?
But we
Mirrors,
become para prakriti when we die.
When you know that when you stop identifying with this body and the mind, that is called moksha or liberation.
Okay.
Otherwise, so the consciousness is always there. So this subtle body, sukshma shariram, it keeps taking rebirth from one body to another because the in the presence of consciousness, it seems to think. So this goes into a lot of the details of Vedanta, which we'll give a little bit. So the Sukshma mind itself is inert. When you are in deep sleep, nothing happens in the mind. So deep sleep is identical to pralayam. So remember the Karana Shariram, we saw that in the three bodies. I don't know how many of you remember that. The Karana Shariram, the three bodies that we have, the gross body, the subtle body, that's the mind, and then the Karana Shariram. We said Karana Shariram is what everything resolves into at pralayam. So in sleep also, everything resolves into this thing. It's still there, but nothing is happening. There's no dreams also. So in deep sleep, it's the closest thing to Karana Sharira. Now, the when the Sukshma Shariram is confused, in the presence of consciousness, it's like electricity. When in the presence of electricity, object comes alive. So automatically the Sukshma Shariram comes alive. It needs a few things. It needs a body and it needs consciousness. Consciousness is always there. That's not a problem. But it needs a suitable body to plug into all that. So you can't plug something in water and expect it to work, because there'll be a short circuit, right, for electric gadget. So you have to keep it in air, in a good place and all that, so that it works properly. Like that, the Sukshma Shariram needs a body. And then there's consciousness everywhere, and then it comes alive. And that's where knowing takes place. But because the Sukshma Shariram is wired in a certain way, it seems to get confused. It thinks, oh, I am this mind, I am this body, and all that. Now, that's where the prayatna, slowly, with this effect that's going on. Sukshma Shariram itself is inert. It can be a little confusing. In presence of consciousness, but it's in a certain way. One Sukshma Shariram can be like this, another person's can be like this. If one is crooked, you can think of mind is crooked, one mind is nice and flat, so very smoothly learning happens. Another mind is crooked, so learning doesn't happen well, so it gets confused. When the confusion is there, it'll keep lingering. But don't get attached with the Sukshma Shariram, because the Sukshma Shariram by itself is inert. It is like, what can you say? The body is like a cloth that you wear and throw. Sukshma Shariram is a level lower. It's like certain things you don't, like a jacket. You don't wash every time, right? You have it for longer. Everybody clear on that? So the liberation happens when you become the Brahman. That is your nature, actually. You are the Brahman. You don't become the Brahman. You are the Brahman. But when you know that, you don't have any future birth. Is the distinction clear, everybody? Tatiana, is that clear? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So we find the Paraprakriti. We cannot find the Paraprakriti because it is us. In the Upanishads, an analogy is used for Ishvara, God. The analogy that's used for Ishvara is a spider. Can anybody describe this analogy in terms of the instrumental or the intelligent cause and the material cause? So the instrumental or the intelligent cause is called nimitta karanam. Material cause is called upadana karanam. So can you describe this analogy of a spider, God as a spider? Can anybody describe?
The spider is the one that creates the web that comes from within. And
yeah,
but that's all I know. I mean, I don't know further beyond that. So it is coming from the spider. So the intelligent cause and the material cause is from the same being.
correct. So spider produces its own web. So this is how the beautiful example that's given. Think of a spider on the ceiling, and it it puts it web, attaches it, and slowly comes down. So as it comes down, so Ishvara is descending into earth as the avatara. So the spider itself is like the consciousness, but the thread that it weaves is the universe. So it comes, and then during pralayam, so this is creation. During pralayam, what happens? The spider can take the web inside. Sometimes you've seen it just goes, it just takes the web back into its stomach. That's why the spider is called Urna Nabihi. Urna is like a thread, Nabi is stomach, so it has a thread in the stomach. Urna Nabihi. Both the instrumental and the material cause is a spider. So Ishvara is like that. Is the answer clear? So Brahman, the pure consciousness, and Maya, the material cause. Spider is likened, the web is likened to the universe. Spider is both the intelligent and the material cause of the web. Urnanabi means that which stores the thread in the stomach. Ishvara consists of two principles, the Brahman, pure consciousness, and the Maya. Maya has no independent existence, but both are eternal. Both have lived. Bhagavan is called Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam, which means the Abhinna means separation. There's no separation, distinction between Nimitta and Upadana causes, the material and the instrumental causes. Everybody's clear on that?
Thank you. Now it's more clear. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Now, and what is the common features of the two prakritis, para and apara prakriti? We just saw that. There is only one common feature. Both are beginningless and eternal. But the next question is, what are the differences between the two prakritis, para and apara prakriti? For that, there are many differences. Para prakriti, consciousness doesn't change at all. It is unchanging, constant. It is not subject to modification. Nirvikara tattvam. And it has no gunas. Gunas belong to apara prakriti. So it is nirgunam chaitanyam, without attributes. And it is chetana tattvam. It is just pure consciousness, whereas apara prakriti is achetana tattvam. It is saguna swarupam, it's with attributes. It is savikara tattvam, with subject to modifications. It is satyam, the paraprakriti is satyam, it is truth, independent principle, whereas apara prakriti cannot exist on its own. It needs an instrument to make it into something. When the instrument is, when the consciousness goes, the whole thing, it collapses back into mithya. It is seemingly real, but it's a dependent principle. It is mithya. So mithya means something, any name form. So this is a very important word. We've seen this again and again. I'll again repeat. Mithya means that which looks real, but it's not real. For example, you have a nice, you have like a pen like this. Is this pen going to be like this in 1,000 years? No, just it's going to decay. 1,000 years, you're saying, is a long time, but still in the timeline of the universe creation, it's nothing. It's like a dot. So that is just a name form to matter. And this matter can also change into energy, whatever, right? If I put it in the sun, the whole thing can evaporate. And everything do fusion, the whole thing will become energy. So all these are name forms. They are not independent principles. It will become something else later. It will have another name form. So it's called mithya, seemingly real, but not real. It's like a dream. Very often it's compared to a dream. It's very genuine. People sweat in their dreams. But When you wake up, it's like gone. So it's seemingly real when dreaming, but when you wake up, it's not real. So mithya is like that. So the Vedanta says the entire universe is mithya. Do not depend, therefore, on mithya. Depend on yourself. That is the consciousness, the Atma. Is it understood? Everybody? Is this point understood? Everybody is quiet. Or does anybody have questions here? Okay. What is the significance of the string holding the gems in Shloka 7.7, slide 29? Slide 29. Sutre Manigana iva. Remember? Matta parataram nanyat kinchitasti dhananjaya mayi sarpamidam protam sutre manigana iva. Anybody wants to answer? You can look at the answers and answer. Anybody? Everybody is quiet. The sutra or the thread signifies the Brahman that holds the gems, which is all the material things, name form. Without Brahman, everything will just collapse. Like that, without this beautiful thread with all the gems, the thread is the one that holds together. Otherwise, they'll scatter and get lost. They'll just disappear. Think about this. All when the thread is cut, all the gems, they fall down, just bounce and just get lost everywhere, right? Like that, everything will collapse without the Brahman holding everything together. That's what Krishna says. Matta parataram nanyate kinchit asti dhananjaya mahi sarvamidam protham sutre manigana iva. Understood, everybody? Yeah. Okay. What are the features of Ishvara described in the portion on nature of Ishvara in chapter 7? So Ishvara has 4 features. What are those 4 features? Anybody wants to answer? Ishvara or Bhagavan, both are synonymous, consists of, we saw, para prakriti, consciousness, and apara prakriti, the material universe. It is Ishvara is the Jagat, Shrishti, Sthiti, Laya Karanam. Shrishti, creation, Sthiti, maintenance, Laya, dissolution, cause of all these. So Bhagavan is the creator, preserver, and destroyer, or dissolver of the universe. I don't want to use the term destroy. And Ishvara is Vishwarupaha. Ishvara's form is the entire universe. Vishwam, the entire universe. So the Vishnu Sahasranamam, that's why it starts with Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro, not as Vishnur Vishwam Vashatkaro. And then Bhagavan is Satya. Jagat is Mithya. So Ishvara as consciousness has independent existence and universe has dependent existence. Okay. Then the next portion. So all this is the nature of Ishvara. The next portion is what is the we have a lot of questions in this. So let's go fast. Samsara Karanam and Samsara Parihara. What is Samsara? How do you define Samsara? Anybody wants to say? Somebody can answer. What is Samsara?
The cycle of life, the cycle of life.
Yeah, cycle of births and deaths. So samsara is actually it refers to the human suffering through the cycle of births and deaths. That is samsara. It's like a sad state. Unfortunately, what is the cause? What is the cause of samsara? I've given a hint, Shloka 13. What is the cause of samsara? Anybody? So Bhagavan explains this in Shloka 13. The entire world of human beings deluded by the states of mind, gunas, brought about by the three gunas, do not know me, who's beyond these gunas, and I'm changeless. I here refers to pure consciousness. So message is, we are so distracted by the apara prakriti that we lose track of the para prakriti. Hold on to the permanent para prakriti. Apara prakriti can delude you. Maya can delude you. That we saw the Mohini avatar, right? So that's what it is. Tribir gunamayai bhavai ye bisarpamidam jagat mohitam na bijanati mamepya param avyayam. Okay, understood? Is this clear? What is the cause of samsara? We saw this also. The Sukshma Shariram keeps taking rebirth because it identifies with the mind and body. What is the only remedy for samsara? Bhagavan gives this.
Connection to Ishvara, like understanding that we are the one.
Yeah, exactly. Very well said. Daivi yesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya me tam taranti te. Mameva eva. Mam eva means only me, those who take refuge only in me, those who only surrender to me, they can cross the Maya. It doesn't mean it is the separate God that you have to please and appease. No, it is surrender to me means know my higher nature. To that, my higher nature is God. It is the para prakriti which pervades this entire universe. Okay, this is so you can interpret it, say, oh, even so, then even in Hinduism they can say only those who surrender to Krishna can are good, all others are bad. No, it's not that. You have to understand the subtlety here. Mam doesn't refer to Krishna, it refers to consciousness, Brahman. So this is how in religions people can miss and interpret and cause problems. That's what Swamiji says, not what I say. What are the characteristics of Maya? Anybody? Maya is a deluding principle, right? Anybody wants to tell the characteristic of Maya? Answers are there. Maya is go ahead, go ahead.
No, I wasn't sure. I was just going to say it's related to the gunas.
Yes,
but
Maya is a deluding principle inherent in apara prakriti due to the gunas. Right? It looks like something, but it can change. It deludes you. That's why it's called mohini. It moham. It deludes you. One day it creates it like a beautiful object. So Swamiji gives this example. You are just attracted to somebody because somebody is good looking. As time passes, the features change, so you're not attracted anymore. So it's maya. It's because of the gunas, the attributes that that you get deluded by. It is very powerful, and it's difficult to be conquered by one's intellect alone. Here you need surrender. Proper Maya, a property of apara prakriti, belongs to para prakriti, thus to Ishvara. Maya can only be conquered through bhakti. So these will be detailed in the 14th chapter. Then in shloka 7.16 to 7.18, Krishna classifies bhaktas based on what they are seeking. What are the various types of devotees? Chatur Veda Bhajante Mam Jana Sukrutin Orchuna. Remember that shloka? So who are the 4 types of devotees that Krishna is classifying?
That I know.
Yeah.
I think the first level is people who are seeking, who are in pain, who
Very good.
need relief of pain.
Yeah.
Then the second would be who are wanting karma, not karma, like artha, like who wants something
very good.
specific.
Excellent. Yeah.
And then I think the third one is for knowledge.
Correct.
But then fourth one, that I didn't understand. Fourth one is for jnanam, it says. But what isn't that knowledge? I don't see that.
They're the wise people. So they want to get liberation. They already understood. So they're getting in the final stages. The wise people, they know what to look for. They want to completely understand the higher nature and get liberated. Completely understand the distinction between I, the consciousness that's viewing the mind, and the body. It's a little they know that I'm different from I am the consciousness that is there in the universe, and I'm different. Okay, Patya. Okay, so yeah, bear with me a few more minutes. We will finish it. So, who does Krishna consider to be the best devotee and why?
The highest, the liberated person, or the jnani.
Yes, jnani is the highest bhakti, because Krishna says that in so of these, the jnani, tesham jnani nitya yukto eka bhaktir vishishyate. And why is the jnani the best? Because the jnani I consider to be my very self. You see, Krishna gives the answer here. Sorry, I'm not. So he, in the previous sloka 7.17, Krishna clearly says, of them the jnani, tesham jnani nitya yuktaha ekabhaktir vishishyate. That person is superior. And why is jnani superior? Krishna gives this. This is very important shloka. All these people are great. I'm not saying anything, but jnani is my very self. Do you see this? So jnani knows that I am, even though I'm a wave, I'm still water. That's the ocean, the Brahman. So jnani atma eva me matam. And I consider jnani to be my very self. Is that understood? Subtle point, but very important. Then 2 types of bhakti, sakama or lower form, and nishkama bhakti. What is sakama bhakti? We've seen that. Anybody wants to say?
Sakama. It's like with some desire for something.
Yes, bhakti for attaining the finite goals of life, material goals. The 4 purusharthas, lower goals, artha, kama, dharma, depending on what it is. Like you're pretending to go to a church or temple so that you are looked upon in society as a respectable person, or going to a temple or whatever, or worshipping to get liberation. Moksha is the higher goal. And then what is nishkama bhakti? Anybody wants to say? We just saw that today. Nishkama bhakti is the worship of Brahman for the infinite goal of liberation. All other goals are finite. The only infinite goal is liberation. Because finite means it will have a beginning and end. What is the main message of shlokas 20 to 26? Sakama and Nishkama bhakti. Anybody wants to say? So main messages, Sakama Bhakti involves worshipping various deities for gaining material benefits. Nishkama Bhakti involves worshipping for liberation. Therefore, Nishkama Bhakti is better than Sakama. Understood? So I think with that, we've completed the review of the 7th chapter, very important chapter.